This is Feng, a wealthy designer and the CEO of a company called Square and Circle that specializes in design. He is an honest and straightforward person who strongly dislikes lying. Because of his honesty and bluntness, he often causes problems and finds himself in embarrassing situations. One day, he goes out with a client, and when she asks him about her appearance, he bluntly tells her that her outfit doesn't match and that her plastic surgeon didn't do a good job on her face. She gets upset and calls him rude, then tries to throw her drink at him, but he catches her glass. However, she grabs his glass and drenches him instead, leaving him soaked. A girl named Jia, who is sitting nearby with her boyfriend, is startled by what just happened to him. Later, Xia and her boyfriend enter an elevator, and coincidentally, Feng joins them. The boyfriend receives a call and pretends it's his roommate, saying he is with his father at the moment. As he continues to lie, Feng gets annoyed and tells Jia in a roundabout way that her boyfriend is actually talking to his other girlfriend. He convinces her that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and she eventually breaks up with him. Feng then returns to his company, where the most important employee, Yo, who is his main assistant and responsible for almost everything, is upset with him for what happened with the client. She confronts him, saying he lost the company an important client. Feng responds that he doesn't care, and that if she doesn't appreciate honesty, he doesn't want to work with her. Yo agrees and says she'll send the client a gift and try to fix the situation. But the most important thing is that he needs to meet with a supplier to review a contract himself. Feng agrees. Later, Yo receives a call from her boss asking about some documents, and she hurries back to the office, quickly bringing the papers to her boss. To her surprise, Feng is sitting with him, and she's shocked, fearing he'll tell her boss what happened. She goes to get Feng something to drink, and her boss apologizes to Feng, saying Yo was delayed because a pipe burst in her house. Feng gets annoyed, realizing she lied. When Yo returns, he confronts her, saying she was late because of the pipe burst. Nervously, she agrees in front of the boss, and Feng calls her a liar, saying he won't work with her because of it. He leaves, and the boss, now frustrated, fires Yo on the spot, telling her to leave immediately. Devastated, she goes home. Later, Jia, Yo's friend, visits her, and they go out together to cheer her up. Jia shares what happened to her with Feng, and Yo tries to make her feel better, saying that better things are coming. Yo then receives a call from a company where she had applied for a job as an assistant, and they inform her that she has an interview the next day. She's excited and hopeful that things are finally looking up. The next day, Yo goes to the company for the interview, unaware that it's Feng's company. During the interview, the HR manager asks why she left her previous job, and she lies, saying they didn't make any profits and cheated her out of her salary for months. Feng then enters the room, and Yo is shocked to see him. He immediately calls her a liar and rejects her application. Yo, now even more upset, confronts Yo, saying no assistant can last more than a month with him. She criticizes him for firing Tina, another employee, just because she was late once. Feng explains that it wasn't the tardiness, but the fact that she lied, and all he wants is an assistant who is honest. Yo pretends to agree, but as she's leaving, tells him that people lie because they can't always tell the truth. Feng responds that it's still no excuse. Meanwhile, Xia is outside, fuming at Feng for being the reason her life is in shambles. When Feng leaves the building, she blocks his car and, in tears, confronts him, saying he ruined her life. She tells him that because of him, she broke up with her boyfriend and lost her job. Feng calmly tells her it wasn't his fault. She broke up with her boyfriend because he was cheating, and she lost her job because she lied. He walks away, leaving her more upset. Yo, thinking of how to find Feng a suitable assistant, recalls Jia and decides to hire her, remembering she seemed patient and kind. Yo meets with Jia and tells her she's been accepted for the job. Jia expresses concern that Feng might not approve, but Yo insists on hiring her anyway. Yo tells Jia, "It's not your concern, but there are two important things you need to do if you're going to work here. First, you need to work hard and never be late. Second, and most importantly, you need to stop Feng from saying anything unnecessary, even if it's the truth. He ruins a lot of deals because of his constant honesty. Also, you should try to build a good relationship with him. This will help him change his behavior and stop saying things that aren't necessary, even if they are true. I'll give you a 1-month trial, and if you succeed, you can stay with us." Jia agrees enthusiastically and arrives for her first day at work. She overhears the employees talking about how difficult Feng is and how the new assistant will have a tough time. When they ask her who she is, she confidently replies, "I'm the one who's going to have a tough time." Feng arrives, surprised to see her, and pulls Yo aside. "Didn't I reject Xia?" he asks. Yo responds, "I know what's best for you. This girl is good. Try her for a month, and if she doesn't perform well, fire her." Feng agrees reluctantly. He then approaches Xia and says, "I don't care how you've behaved so far, but from today, if you lie even once, you're out." Xia, relieved that she's been accepted, agrees enthusiastically. Later, she attends a meeting with Feng where one of the designers, Yuga Berry, presents his designs. He mentions that Chung Real Estate almost approved the designs. Feng, however, expresses his dislike for them and insists they be redone. Xia tries to prevent him from making things worse by interrupting and offering to get him something to drink. Feng looks at her and sternly tells her to leave the room. She obeys, and Feng reiterates to Yuga that he wants the designs changed within 3 days. When Yuga refuses, Feng insists that it must be done. After the meeting, Feng tells Xia to come with him, and as they get into his car, he tells her to put on her seatbelt. Xia struggles to fasten it, and Feng, frustrated, remarks, "You can't even buckle your seatbelt? What can you actually do in life?" He then has her move to the back seat, which irritates her. She receives a call from her friend Xia, who invites her out, but Xia declines, saying she's busy. Time passes, and it gets very late. Xia, exhausted, falls asleep in Feng's car. They arrive at a bus station, and Feng wakes her up, telling her to get out of the car. Confused, Xia wonders why he didn't take her all the way home. She gets on a bus and leaves. Unbeknownst to her, Feng stays behind to make sure she safely gets on the bus, without letting her know. When Xia gets home, she talks to Xia about how harsh and ridiculous Feng is, and how many times she's considered quitting. But each time, she holds herself back because of the money. Back at the company, Feng is seen reading a book he's kept. The next day, Xia arrives and finds him asleep. She approaches him, and while he's still asleep, vents all her frustrations, saying, "Why do you bully me? You're such a jerk." As she speaks, Feng dreams of being bullied by students when he was young, and he wakes up suddenly, grabbing Xia's hand and pulling her onto his lap. She's embarrassed, and they share an awkward moment. Feng says to Xia, "What, did you like sitting on my lap? Should I get you a lemonade or something?" Xia becomes even more embarrassed, quickly gets up, apologizes, and tells him that a package arrived for him, which she placed outside his office. She leaves the room, and Feng continues to work. 3 days later, Yuga begins packing his things to leave. Xia tries to convince him to stay, but it's no use. Xia recalls that Feng asked Yuga to stay, so she lies to save the situation and prevent Yuga from leaving. She tells him, "Feng actually told me to tell you to stay. He respects you and doesn't want you to leave. He'll be here soon." Yuga is convinced and decides to stay. However, just as Xia thinks she's succeeded, Feng appears and overhears her lie. He takes Yuga to his office and offers him a deal, saying, "I'll give you a 10% share if you complete the Chung Company project until the company finishes it. Just do what I tell you." Feng then reveals that everything Xia told him was a lie, adding, "I don't care whether you stay or not." Yuji, feeling betrayed, says to Feng, "Tomorrow, when you lose the Chung project and your company goes bankrupt, you'll cry. You'll cry hard, and then let's see where your pride will be." He leaves, but Feng remains calm. Feng then calls Xia to his office. Xia is terrified, thinking she'll be fired. However, Yo reassures her, telling her to stay calm and do her job. Yo speaks with Feng, who finally agrees to overlook Xia's lie this time, saying, "I'll let her lie slide this time for your sake." But Yo warns him that he needs to take care of the Chung project or the company will lose it and might even close down. She leaves the office after saying this. Later, Xia meets up with her friend Xia for lunch, but she receives a call from her landlord which makes her anxious. She rushes home and finds the landlord showing her apartment to another potential tenant. Shocked, Xia confronts her, saying, "I'm still living here. How can you rent it out to someone else?" After the potential tenant leaves, Xia talks to the landlord, who reminds her that she owes 3 months of rent and the repair costs for the broken water pipe. The landlord threatens to evict her if she doesn't pay everything by the end of the day. Terrified, Xia tries to negotiate. At that moment, Feng calls Xia, telling her to come to the office immediately for a meeting. She explains that she has an emergency and hangs up. Feng is surprised by her abruptness, so he gets into his car and drives to her apartment. Meanwhile, the landlord tells Xia that she has only 3 days left. As Xia tries to leave, a lamp falls and breaks. Xia is saddened because it was a gift. The landlord continues to harass her, but Feng arrives just in time and overhears the landlord threatening to evict Xia. He steps in to defend Xia, telling the landlord, "You have no right to evict her as long as there's a lease. According to the law, it's the landlord's responsibility to fix anything that breaks in the apartment. If you want to evict her, go to court, but you'll lose the case." The landlord, intimidated, backs down and leaves Xia alone. Xia thanks Feng, who tells her not to worry. As they leave, Feng informs her that they need to attend a meeting with the CEO of Chung Company. When they arrive at the company, Feng says to Xia, "Your job is to help me, and make sure I don't say anything unnecessary that could ruin the deal." Xia agrees, and they enter the meeting with Yang, the son of the company's owner who is now running the business because his father is unwell, and Yang's wife. And every time Feng is about to ruin things, Xia steps in to save the situation and lightens the mood. Yang and his wife start to feel comfortable around Xia, and Yang is almost ready to make a deal with Feng. But then, Yang's young son splashes ice water on Xia, which angers Feng. He stands up and scolds the child, saying, "Apologize now." The mother intervenes, saying, "He's just a child. Children don't know any better." Feng, however, responds sharply, "You're his mother. You should have taught him better. I won't tolerate anyone bullying my employees. If you think it's okay to splash ice, I'll splash some on you too." Feng grabs some ice and moves towards her, which makes Yang uncomfortable. He then tells them both to leave, causing the entire deal to fall apart. After leaving, Feng stands there fuming, trying to figure out what to do next. Xia brings him some water to calm him down and tells him that they've lost the deal. She then asks him, "Is it really that hard for you to control yourself?" Feng replies, "I know all the employees are upset with me because of my bluntness, and I lose a lot of clients because of it, but I can't lie." Xia reassures him, saying, "Don't worry, I'm here for you. I'll do whatever it takes on your behalf." Feng is surprised by her words and says, "Good, good," before walking away. At the same time, Liu meets with an old friend of Feng's who has been holding a grudge against him for a long time. This friend named Lei wants to get revenge on Feng, and we'll learn later why he's so determined to take Feng down. Liu tells Lei, "If it weren't for you convincing me to leave the company, I wouldn't have taken this step. Once Feng loses the Chung Company deal, he'll be destroyed. He'll come begging to us, both of us." Lei replies, "Why both of us? He'll only beg me. But even then I won't forgive him." The next day, Xia is at a bakery where a young man named Joe asks if he can buy a croissant from her, as they are sold out in the shop. Xia agrees and gives it to him. He thanks her and leaves, and Xia heads to work. Later, Joe arrives at the company, and when they see each other, they are both surprised. Xia initially thinks he followed her, but Hugh arrives and introduces Joe as a new designer who will start training at the company that day. Xia then has Sherry show Joe to his office. Meanwhile, at the Chung Company, Liu presents his designs, which impress the directors and Yang. They like the designs because they dislike Feng. But just before the designs are approved, Yang's father, the owner of the company, unexpectedly arrives. Yang is shocked, and everyone is stunned when the father enters and calls for Feng. It turns out Feng has a good relationship with Yang's father, and he successfully presents his company's designs for the project. Feng's company enters the bidding to win the project. Afterward, Feng comes down and finds Hugh waiting anxiously. She learns that Feng's designs were accepted by Chung Company, which makes her very happy. Liu, on the other hand, is furious and tries to attack Feng, but Feng restrains him. Liu breaks down in tears, saying, "You ruined me. Where am I supposed to go now after leaving your company? I was counting on this project with Chung Company." Hugh subtly hints to Feng that he should give Liu another chance, and Feng reluctantly agrees. He tells Liu, "You can come back, but you won't be the head designer as you were before. You'll have a lower salary." Liu agrees immediately, and thanks Feng for letting him return after everything he's done. As Feng walks with Hugh, she thanks him for taking Liu back. Feng responds, "I took him back because he's a talented designer. It's clear that someone was behind Liu leaving the company and taking the Chung Company designs to try and destroy us." Hugh suggests that it might have been her father, but Feng dismisses the idea, saying, "No, I don't think so. It must be someone else." Feng starts to suspect Lei. On another day, Xia comes to Feng feeling happy after things have settled with Chung Company. She has a gift for him and says, "This gift is for you." Feng replies, "Open it." "This is a gift from me to you," Xia says as she opens the package. Inside, she finds a lamp just like the one that broke earlier. She's overjoyed, realizing that Feng remembered her. That night, she lights the lamp and sits staring at it with a big smile on her face. At the end of the month, Xia receives her salary and sees that 8,000 yuan has been deposited into her account. She's ecstatic and immediately calls her friend Xia to share the news, promising to treat her to something special. Xia congratulates her and suggests they have dinner together when she returns. Xia then grabs a drink for Feng and heads to his office. When she doesn't find him there, she gets playful and draws a funny emoji on his desk to encourage him to smile more. Suddenly, Feng walks in, catching her off guard. She quickly explains, "I drew this to make you laugh. Come on, laugh. They say laughter extends your life." Feng, with a hint of sarcasm, replies, "It seems you have too much free time. Instead of fooling around, go back to work." Xia mutters under her breath, "What a grump," and leaves the office. Feng, however, fiddles with the drawing she left, indicating that he wasn't actually upset by her gesture, despite how he acted. Later, Xia and Xia meet for dinner. Xia remarks, "It looks like your relationship with your boss has improved. You've stopped sending me those messages where you complain about him." Xia nods, "Yes, he's been getting better, but I still can't figure out why he never lies. Was he born that way, or did something happen to him in the past?" Xia, trying not to overthink it, responds, "Don't worry about it too much, but you know, his story is intriguing. I'm actually thinking of creating a comic about someone who never lies. You'll have to fill me in on the details so I can finish it, okay?" Xia laughs and agrees, though she's not too focused on the conversation. On another day, Feng approaches Xia and tells her that she missed something important in some paperwork. He instructs her to redo the work from the beginning and have it ready for him by the next morning. Xia is surprised by the tight deadline but gets straight to work, staying late into the night to finish it. Hugh, noticing that Xia is still working late, checks in on her. Xia tells her, "I'm almost done with what Feng asked for." Hugh encourages her and compliments her dedication, then invites her out for dinner as a reward. During their meal, Xia brings up Feng again, asking why he always tells the truth and wondering if he hates lies so much because of something that happened to him in the past. Hugh is taken aback for a moment but then brushes it off, saying, "The most important thing in the company is the work. Let's not worry about what he said or didn't say, okay?" Xia agrees, realizing Hugh might be right, and they both laugh and continue their dinner. The next day, Xia hands Feng the revised documents. He tells her, "Get ready, we're leaving in 5 minutes and you're coming with me." Xia nods and heads back to her desk. Just then, Xia calls her, explaining that her boss won't let her leave until she finishes some drawings for a new series she's working on. Xia begs Xia to come and help her out, but Xia apologizes, explaining that she has to leave with Feng soon. As Xia prepares to leave with Feng, she spots Zhou and quickly asks him for a favor. She tells him to go help Xia and get her out of the house, to which Zhou agrees. Xia then leaves with Feng and they head to a flower shop where Feng buys a bouquet of pink roses. Xia starts daydreaming, wondering who the flowers are for, thinking that maybe Feng has a girlfriend and is buying the bouquet for her. Meanwhile, Xia manages to distract her boss, saying she needs to go into her room to grab some papers. Xia sneaks into the room, closes the door behind her, and climbs out the window, descending the fire escape. But her foot slips, and she almost falls, but Zhou catches her just in time. As they look at each other, Zhou says, "What a pleasant coincidence." Suddenly, they hear the boss coming down, so Xia jumps onto the back of Zhou's bike, and they escape together. Zhou tries to lighten the mood, and it's clear he has developed a bit of a crush on her. He then suggests, "How about we grab something to eat together?" Xia agrees, and they head off. Meanwhile, after Feng buys the bouquet of flowers, Xia is still lost in thought, wondering if he's in love. They arrive at a nursing home, and Feng hands her the bouquet, saying, "Go ahead and give this to an elderly man in room 12, on behalf of a friend." Xia approaches the elderly man to give him the flowers, but to her dismay, he suddenly falls ill. She panics and calls for the nurses. Feng notices the commotion and rushes into the room to find the elderly man unconscious. He quickly picks him up and takes him to the hospital. Xia, still shaken, apologizes repeatedly, explaining that it wasn't her fault and that the man suddenly became ill. Feng reassures her, "I know." Later, the doctor comes out and informs them that they managed to save the elderly man, but he is still unconscious. Relieved, Feng asks Xia to go pay the hospital fees. When she returns, it becomes apparent that she has lost her wallet. She returns to Feng, who then takes her to the hotel. Xia realizes she's lost her wallet and becomes very upset. She thinks back and concludes that it must have fallen out at the hospital. Feng tells her, "Well, it looks like we'll have to stay in the same room since you don't have your ID card." He takes her up to their room. She takes a shower while Feng goes to get something from the supermarket. As he's leaving, she jokingly asks, "Why are you leaving? Got some ideas?" Feng responds, "Come on, don't worry, I'm not blind. I have no interest in you." He leaves, and she goes to take her shower. While in the shower, Xia suddenly feels weak and collapses. Feng returns, and when she doesn't respond, he enters the bathroom and finds her on the floor. He quickly helps her up and puts her on the bed, checking her temperature. Realizing she has a slight fever, he gives her the medicine he bought. "I sensed that you weren't feeling well when we were in the car, which is why I went to get you some medicine," he tells her. "Take this and rest." He leaves the room to let her sleep. Later, Feng receives a call from Hugh, who asks him to go out with her because she's feeling anxious. He tells her that he's not available, as he's at a hotel with Xia. Hugh is clearly upset and seems a bit jealous, revealing that she has feelings for him, though she hasn't admitted it to him yet. Feng does some work in the room until Xia walks in, unable to sleep. She sits down and says, "I can't sleep, let's talk for a bit. Maybe it'll help." Feng agrees, and she starts asking him why he hates lying so much. She jokingly speculates that maybe when he was born, his father told him, "If you lie, you'll die," which scared him so much that he never lied again. Feng is amused by her wild imagination and then decides to share the real reason. "There was once a friend of mine," he begins, referring to Lei, "and when we were together, we were incredibly happy. But one day, because of a single lie, my friend's family lost everything. They were destroyed. His mother died and his father went mad. From that day on, I swore I would never lie again." Xia is deeply moved by his story and feels a strong sense of empathy for him. Feng adds, "But this is a secret, don't tell anyone." Xia promises, "Of course I won't tell anyone." She then goes to bed. The next morning, Xia wakes up late and worries that Feng might be angry with her. But she's relieved when she finds a note and breakfast left by Feng, telling her to eat and take care of her health until he returns. She sits down to eat, feeling happy, and wonders where Feng went, though she doesn't worry too much, focusing instead on how good the food tastes. Feng arrives at the hospital to check on Lei's father from a distance. When he sees that he's doing better, Feng prepares to leave. Just then, Lei arrives and spots Feng, calling out to him. Feng turns around and they stand silently for a moment. Lei then takes Feng aside and asks, "Did you come to visit my father because you knew I'd be here, right?" Feng remains silent. Lei confronts Feng, saying, "You're the one who made Liu leave the company and tried to prevent me from taking on the Chang Corporation project." Feng replies coldly, "Yes, I did, and this is just the beginning. You'll regret ever seeing me." He then walks away, leaving Lei standing there, unfazed by the threat. Lei doesn't let Feng's words get to him and eventually returns to the hotel. When Lei arrives, he sees Xia asleep on the couch and thinks she might have fainted from exhaustion. He approaches her quietly, but she suddenly wakes up, startled. They bump into each other, and Xia exclaims, "You scared me." Lei notices a small nosebleed and quickly helps her, instructing her to look up while he laughs at her funny expressions. Xia is confused about why he's laughing. The next day at the office, Feng calls a team meeting and informs everyone that many competitors will try to take the Chang Corporation project from them. He announces that he needs someone to take charge of the designs that will be submitted soon. Lei considers raising his hand but hesitates out of shyness. Instead, Feng selects 2 other employees to handle the designs, and they nervously accept, knowing how difficult Feng is to please. After the meeting, Hugh approaches Xia and asks what happened and why they stayed at a hotel. Xia lies, saying, "We were visiting a client and the car broke down, and for the record, we didn't stay in the same room." Hugh responds, "Good, the worst thing a female employee can do is fall in love with her boss." Jia quickly reassures her, "No way, that would never happen. I don't like him at all. How could I fall for him when he treats me like that? It would only end up hurting me." Hugh seems relieved and more at ease. Later, Feng receives a call from his sister's school about a problem she caused. He leaves the office and takes Jia with him. As they head out, Jia asks, "Where are we going?" She soon learns that Feng has a younger sister. They arrive at the school, where they meet the principal and the mother of the girl Feng's sister had an issue with. Feng asks his sister what happened, and she explains, "That girl bullies other students, so I put up an old picture of her with crooked teeth before they got fixed, hoping it would make her stop." Feng believes her story, but the other girl's mother is upset, and the principal insists that Feng's sister should either be expelled or transferred to another class. Feng and his sister refuse, leading to a tense exchange with the other girl's mother. Xia steps in to defuse the situation, suggesting, "Both Feng's sister and your daughter made mistakes. If your daughter apologizes for her bullying, Feng's sister will apologize for the photo. That way they can both make amends." The mother and Feng's sister agree to this, and the issue is resolved. Feng is impressed by Xia's quick thinking, and his sister grows fond of her as well. On the way home, Feng's sister continues to chat with Xia, clearly liking her more and more. When Feng drops Xia off at her place, she hesitates before getting out of the car and says, "By the way, I lied to Hugh. I told her we were visiting a client and didn't stay in the same room at the hotel. So, if she asks, please don't expose me." He tells her, "What do I have to do with this? You're lying and you want me to cover up your lie?" "Liar!" She replies, "I lied to protect your secret, just like you asked me to. So you're the one who's wrong." He says, "Enough, get out," and walks away, leaving her behind. She goes inside and finds Xia has brought food and sweets to celebrate that her new drama script was approved. She sits and eats with her, but she doesn't know that the script is based on Feng's story and his hatred for lies. Xia keeps asking her about what happened between her and Feng to continue writing, but she still has no idea. Later that night, he arrives home with his sister. She asks him why he quickly liked Xia, since she always used to hate his assistants. He replies, "Because she understands what I want, and we both get each other. I did what I wanted, and I taught that girl a lesson so she won't bully the students again. And she made the girl apologize to you, which is exactly what I had in mind. So I won, and it's all thanks to her." He says, "All right, smart one, go on in." She replies, "Okay," and leaves him to go inside. A few days later at the company, he presents the designs that the two employees from the Cheng project were assigned to create. He gets upset and says, "Are these the designs you want to submit for the bid? Go out and fix them." The employees leave, feeling very disappointed. They run into Yu and tell him he didn't like the designs again. "It looks like we're going to resign." They leave, and Yu sits down, frustrated. Shou thinks for a moment, then sits next to him and says, "You're the best designer here." He replies, "No, Feng is the best, and I'm ashamed after what I did. I can't ask Feng for this." Shou responds, "Feng actually wanted to choose you, but you know how tough he is. He said he wanted to test you and see if you'd come to him and ask to lead this project." He asks her, "You're not lying like last time, right?" She answers, "Come on, man, I'm being honest this time." He finally agrees and decides to ask Feng to take on the project. She's thrilled that she managed to convince him. He goes to Feng and says, "I want to help with the Cheng project." Feng replies, "All right." He's happy and says, "I'm really sorry for what I did before. Let me know if you ever need me to work on anything." Feng, realizing that Shou lied, tells him, "There's no need to tell Xia." Shou overhears this and thinks that Feng is going to scold her. She goes in and stands nervously, expecting to be fired. But Feng just tells her to take the files and doesn't bring up the subject. She's surprised but leaves. Feng smiles, pleased that she solved his problem, but Shou remains anxious all day, wanting to apologize. Later, he tells her, "Be prepared to stay late with me," and she agrees. That night she goes to apologize but finds him asleep. She moves closer and says, "You look innocent when you're sleeping, but when you're awake you always make me nervous." He wakes up and she panics, stepping back. She accidentally knocks over a model of a castle that he had made. She gets flustered and apologizes. He picks it up and goes inside, and she follows, repeatedly apologizing. He says, "It's fine, don't worry about it." She insists, "No, I want to fix it." He asks, "Can you?" She confidently replies, "Of course." She starts putting all the pieces back in place, successfully restoring the model. Fang is impressed and says, "You seem pretty smart." She admits, "To be honest, I really like all the designs you make, and I especially love this one. I look at it every day, so I knew how to put it back together." They continue chatting casually, lightening the mood. They step outside into the fresh air and chat for a while. On another day, while Feng is relaxing, Xia spots him and approaches, thinking he's asleep. As usual, she stares at him foolishly, but suddenly, he opens his eyes, startling her so much that she loses her balance. Before she can fall, Feng catches her, creating a romantic moment that makes her feel very embarrassed. She quickly apologizes and returns to her office, where she daydreams, realizing she's starting to have feelings for him. Later, she receives a call from him. He tells her he found her wallet and asks her to meet him to retrieve it. Of course, this is just an excuse to learn something about Feng and discover any of his weaknesses. She goes to meet him, and he compliments her, calling her beautiful, trying to get closer to her. She thanks him and talks about Feng, saying he's a really good person, which annoys him. However, he tries not to show it. Xia leaves and soon after gets a call from Feng, asking where she is and telling her to meet him at a nearby mall. When she arrives, he takes her to a store and asks her to choose a wallet for a girl who is picky and doesn't understand much. She takes her time selecting one before finally deciding on a wallet, telling him it's a good choice. Feng then says, "Take it. It's a gift from me to you." She gets upset and asks, "So you think I'm the one who doesn't understand?" She starts choosing a wallet again and asks the salesperson to bring her a very expensive one. She then goes home, feeling distracted and upset. Later, she tells Xia about what happened. Xia tries to comfort her, saying, "It's okay, don't take it to heart. It was just the first time." The next day, when Xia sees Feng, she asks him if he has a girlfriend and what kind of girls he likes. He replies, "Beautiful and attractive girls, and you definitely could never be one of them." Xia is shocked and falls silent. He moves closer, grabs her, and asks, "Are you falling for me or something?" She's even more shocked and steps back, quickly denying it before walking away. The next day at the company, Feng tells Xia that she'll be joining him later. She agrees, and they head out together. Just before they get into the car, Xia gets a call saying that her ex-boyfriend was in an accident and is in the hospital. She wants to go see him but lies to Feng, telling him that her friend Xia was the one who had the accident and asks him to go to the meeting alone. She hands him a flash drive with the project designs and leaves. Feng goes to the meeting but finds the flash drive empty with no designs on it. As a result, the head of Chung Company rejects the proposal, saying they aren't serious about the project. He adds that if they were, they would have double-checked the flash drive. Feng is very upset and begins to suspect that Xia was lying. When he returns to the company, he calls Xia and asks where she is. She tells him she's at home, confirming Feng's suspicion that Xia lied to him. When Xia returns to the office, Feng angrily confronts her, calling her a liar and blaming her for losing an important client. He fires her from the company. Xia is deeply hurt, packs her things, and leaves while crying. Xia meets her outside and tries to comfort her. Later, Feng visits his father in the hospital, trying to help him remember who he is, but it's no use. Feng is disheartened and decides to meet with Xia. They meet in a place they used to visit before their falling out. Xia angrily asks why his father went mad and forgot him, why his mother died, and blames Feng for everything. He grabs him and punches him, but Feng doesn't react. Xia apologizes, but Feng doesn't respond, and he leaves him and walks away. One day, Feng starts daydreaming, remembering Xia drawing on his coffee cup. He misses her, but he's also upset that he's thinking about her this way. He throws away the drink he was holding. Days pass, and one day Feng enters the office, where the new employee who replaced Xia is talking to her. Xia gives her advice on how to deal with Feng to avoid making him angry. Feng realizes that she's still trying to care for him, even after being fired. Xia notices Feng and runs after him to apologize. She admits that it was her fault, not Xia's, that the flash drive with the project designs was lost. She explains that on the day they were going to the meeting, the flash drive with the designs fell, and when she picked it up, she accidentally swapped it with an empty one. So Xia wasn't to blame. Feng finally believes her and lets the matter go. Xia goes to the Chung company to apologize to the director and convinces him to reconsider working with Feng's company. She tells him how hard Feng worked on the designs and admits that the mistake was hers. However, the director refuses and pushes her away. But before she falls, Feng appears and catches her. He confronts the company's CEO, forcing him to apologize to Xia, threatening to report him to the police for his assault on her. The CEO reluctantly apologizes, and Feng gives her some medicine and sits with her for a while, softening the atmosphere after realizing how much she cares about his well-being. He eventually reinstates her position, and the next day, Xia returns to work. The employees are happy to see her back, but Xia feels uneasy because she suspects that Feng might be developing feelings for Xia, making her increasingly jealous. She confronts Feng, asking him to fire Xia so she can feel at ease, justifying it by blaming Xia for losing the Chung company deal. However, Feng refuses, explaining that Xia isn't to blame. When he tells her the truth, she becomes even more upset. At the end of the day, Feng feels unwell, and Xia finds out, so she helps him get home. She cooks for him and his sister, and they're both impressed by her cooking. His sister grows very fond of her. Afterwards, Feng takes her out, and they spend some time together, with Feng trying to lighten the mood. Xia feels like he might be starting to like her. When she gets home, she keeps thinking about him and looks at the lamp he gave her as a gift, feeling very happy. The next day at the office, rumors start spreading that Xia and Feng are in a relationship after people saw her helping him the previous day. However, they misunderstood the situation. Xia finds out about the rumors and becomes anxious, deciding to keep some distance from Feng to make the rumors disappear. She goes inside and Feng asks her to accompany him to a meeting, but she refuses, pretending to be sick. Feng tells her to take care of herself and go home. After the meeting, Feng visits her at home with some medicine to check on her. Surprised, she admits the truth, telling him she isn't sick but lied because of the rumors spreading at the company about them being in a relationship. She did it to create some distance between them and make the rumors stop. Feng gets very upset and quickly leaves. Another day at the office, Xia receives a call from Li, who tries to arrange a meeting with her. He reminds her that she promised to treat him to dinner last time. She reluctantly agrees and invites him to dinner that night. At the end of the day, Feng drives her there, and when she gets out, Feng becomes suspicious about why she's at that particular restaurant. She enters and meets Li. When she sees how expensive the food is, she feels nervous and embarrassed. Li notices this and offers to pay for dinner this time, asking her to repay him another time. After dinner, they go for a walk, and Li tries to lighten the mood. He tells her that he likes her and wants to date her, which takes her by surprise, leaving her unsure of how to respond. Just then, Feng appears and approaches them. He tells Li, "If you want to get back at me, that's fine, but don't involve the people I care about in our issues." He then walks away. Xia realizes that Li wanted to date her just to get revenge on Feng. She runs after Feng and apologizes, and Feng understands her situation. They have dinner together and he talks to her, sharing that he and Li used to be very close friends when they were young. However, their friendship was destroyed because of a lie Li told. Later, they meet Detective Yang, who had helped them before. They discuss a case of girls who went missing 13 years ago. The detective tells them he hasn't found much, except that the officers responsible for the case were transferred to completely different locations. After that, Li and his assistant take a walk in the forest. Li starts reminiscing about a time when he saw a lost girl in the forest searching for her family, and he helped her back then. He also remembers when he returned from abroad and saw his parents devastated. He tried to help them, but it was no use. In his frustration, he told them that he was back and would get justice for them. Li becomes very angry and goes to Feng, threatening to take his company and Xia away from him because he knows those are the two things Feng cares about the most. He then leaves and goes to Xia, trying to smooth things over with her and asking her to go out with him the next day. She tries to refuse, but he insists, saying they should go to the cinema together. In the end, Xia lightens the mood with Feng and says, "Come on, I'm treating you to dinner." She takes him to a simple place for dinner and shares stories about her life. She tells him that her parents died when she was young, and she was raised by her aunt, who didn't treat her well and always favored her own daughter. The next day, when she arrives at the company, She is surprised when Lee insists on taking her out. He takes her to a cinema, and after the movie, she confronts him, saying she knows there are issues between him and Fang, and that he's trying to get close to her to get back at Fang. She tells him she doesn't want to be a part of their conflict and leaves. Later, Xia calls Fang to meet up, but when he answers, she can tell from his voice that he's not feeling well. Concerned, she rushes to his house with some medicine and spends the day taking care of him. As the day ends and it gets late, she tries to leave, but Feng persuades her to stay a bit longer. They play around and have a great time together. The next day, Huo notices that Xia didn't come to work and becomes upset because she already dislikes her. She asks Feng about it, and he tells her that he gave Xia the day off because she helped him when he was sick the previous day, making Huo even more jealous and frustrated. Later, Li meets with Xia and apologizes for trying to involve her in his issues with Feng. He tells her that he won't ask her about anything related to Feng again and hopes they can be friends. She agrees, and they shake hands, marking a fresh start to their friendship. Feng then takes Xia out, showing her the stars and lightening the mood even more. It's clear that he has fallen for her. Xia shares a story about a time when she got lost during a school trip and was helped by a boy who took her to the police station. This is where we learn that she is the same girl Li met in the forest and helped all those years ago. She falls asleep, and Feng, not wanting to disturb her, lets her rest. When she wakes up the next day, she finds herself still in the car with Feng. She wakes him up, and they drive off. At the company, Feng sees Huo looking happy and asks her how the meeting with the client, which she was supposed to attend with him the previous day, went. She proudly tells him that she reached an agreement with the client and the deal is almost finalized. Feng feels relieved and thanks her. However, Feng feels unwell, and Xia notices this, suggesting she should go to the hospital. They take her to the hospital where her condition improves. Feng visits Xia at the hospital, checking in on her. He tells her to rest and that he'll meet the client and finalize the contract. But she refuses, insisting on completing the deal herself. Later, Detective Yang meets Li, informing him that he found the school principal involved in the old case, but she's out of the country and will return in a week. Once she's back, they'll be able to meet her and learn what happened back then. Li then recalls the time he helped Xia as a child and remembers that she left her hair clip with him, though she doesn't know this. He still has the hair clip and has kept it all these years, hoping to find her because he loved her since then. Another day, Feng goes to sign the contract with the client, but Li and his assistant show up, saying they own the deal and plan to cancel it. Feng will have to pay a penalty for breaching the contract, marking the start of Li's revenge. Feng and his team are furious and walk away. Huo is extremely upset because she was the one who initially secured the deal without knowing it was tied to Li and that it was all a trap. When the employees hear about the deal being canceled, they are deeply affected and demoralized. Huo tries to find a solution and eventually meets Li, asking him to sign the contract with Feng's company. However, Li refuses, saying that he would have agreed if it were anyone but Feng. He leaves, thinking that Feng sent Xia to persuade him to agree to the deal. Li then calls Feng and tells him that if he needs anything, he should talk to him like a man and not send his secretary. He insults her and hangs up. Another day, Xia receives a call from her landlord, who informs her that she's selling the house, causing Xia to panic and rush over. She tries to convince the landlord not to sell the house, but it's no use. The landlord returns her last month's rent and tells her she has a week to move out. Xia is devastated and doesn't know where to stay that night. She thinks about it and goes to her friend Xia, but she doesn't tell her what happened. The next day at the company, Feng notices that Xia looks sad and asks her what's wrong. She tells him that she was evicted and has no place to stay. Feng's sister suggests that Xia stays with them, but Xia refuses, saying it wouldn't be right. However, when Feng learns about the eviction, he says he doesn't mind her staying with them. Feng then takes Xia to live with them at their house. His sister shows her to her room, which she really likes. At night, she senses Feng entering her room, so she gets up and asks him what's wrong. He hands her a teddy bear and says it's for her to sleep with if she's scared to sleep alone in the dark. She's surprised and says, "All right, thanks." The next morning, Feng wakes up to find that Xia has made a beautiful breakfast for him and his sister. He's impressed and keeps thanking her as they sit down to eat. Later that day, Xia meets with a friend, who tells her there's a big secret between Feng and Li, which is why Li wants to destroy Feng and ruin the deal. Her friend insists that she needs to find out what this secret is, as the company could be in serious trouble if the conflict between Feng and Li continues. Xia is upset that Feng never told her about it. She returns to the company visibly angry and confronts Feng about the reason behind his conflict with Li. Feng refuses to tell her, saying it's a personal matter and he's not obligated to explain it to her. Frustrated, Xia seeks out Li and presses him to explain what happened between him and Feng in the past. After some hesitation, Li finally tells her. Li reveals that years ago his father was falsely accused in a case. Feng's father, who was a lawyer, was hired to defend him. Li's father gave Feng's father all the evidence and documents that proved his innocence. However, Feng's father betrayed Li's father and made sure the charges stuck, resulting in Li's father going to prison. Li's mother later committed suicide because of it, and now Li wants revenge, believing that Feng helped his father frame Li's father. Xia tries to comfort Li and says she doesn't believe Feng would do something like that. Xia returns home and sees Feng painting, but she doesn't bring up the issue. Instead, she talks to Feng's sister and asks if she knows anything about Li. Feng's sister tells her that their father hurt Li's father a long time ago, and since then, Feng hasn't spoken to their father at all. Xia realizes that Feng isn't to blame for what happened. Later, when she speaks with Feng, she suggests he meet with Li and explain that he had nothing to do with what happened. But Feng isn't convinced. He tells her that nothing can bring back his parents, so it doesn't matter anymore. Xia doesn't know what to say in response. Feng arranges for Xia's driving instructor to call her about attending her driving lessons so he can see her, but she lies and says she's sick and can't go, then hangs up. Worried, Li sends her a bouquet of flowers and a get well message the next day. When Feng sees them, he's very upset. Xia apologizes to Feng after realizing what happened, and is later confronted by Huo. She scolds Xia, saying that the company isn't a garden where her boyfriend can send her flowers. Xia insists that Li isn't her boyfriend, but it's no use. Huo is just looking for excuses to be mean because she's jealous. Xia meets with Li and asks him not to send her flowers at work again, as it embarrassed her. Feng, who is watching them, becomes jealous. He approaches Xia, reminding her that it's work hours, and scolds her, which annoys Li. Li offers Xia a job at his company, saying, "Leave him, and I'll hire you." Xia remains silent, not responding to Li's offer. Feng grabs her hand and leads her out. He tries to explain to her why he doesn't want her to be with anyone else, admitting that he's jealous without realizing it. Xia is happy to hear this, but Feng, feeling awkward, quickly leaves. Feng spends some time thinking about how to handle the embarrassment he feels. Later that night, Xia goes out for a walk, reflecting on what Li told her. She heads to the supermarket to buy something specific and unexpectedly runs into Feng there. They exchange glances for a while and even end up buying the same food item before leaving. At dinner, Feng brings up the topic again. He tells Xia that when he said he was jealous, he didn't mean it because he liked her or anything. He was just concerned from a work perspective. He adds, "To be clear, I'm not interested in you, so don't let your imagination run wild." Xia responds, "That's good to know," but it's clear she doesn't believe him and knows he has feelings for her. As time passes, Feng and the employees work hard and successfully close a new deal. Feng is thrilled, and so are the employees. When Li finds out, he's furious because he had been trying to stop Feng from getting this deal, but failed. That evening, Feng takes the employees out to celebrate at a restaurant. Coincidentally, Xia is at the same restaurant with Li. When Li notices Feng, he sneakily gives Xia a flower to provoke him. As expected, Feng becomes very jealous and upset. Xia tries to join Feng and the team for the celebration, but Feng, still angry, tells her they don't want her there. Upset, she returns to Li. They leave the restaurant and go for a walk together. At the end of the outing, she decides to spend the night at Xia's place, but when she calls Xia, she finds out that she's out, so she hangs up and reluctantly returns to Feng's house. Feng sees her and takes out his frustration on her, scolding her due to his jealousy. This upsets her, and she decides to find another place to stay. The next day, she does find a new place, but when she discovers that Li was the one who arranged for her to get the apartment, she confronts him. She tells Lee she doesn't need his help and reminds him that she had already told him to leave her out of his issues with Feng. She makes it clear that she will never be the card he uses to bring down Feng, then walks away. Meanwhile, Huo plants seeds of doubt in Feng's mind, suggesting that there are rumors circulating about Xia being romantically involved with Li. She suggests firing Xia and looking for a new assistant because Xia can't stay at the company if there are rumors linking her to their biggest competitor, Li, who is trying to destroy them. Huo implies that Xia might even be a spy, leaving Feng speechless and unsure of how to respond. When Xia returns to the company, Feng asks her where she's been. She tells him she was looking for a new apartment. Feng jokingly asks why she doesn't want to stay with him, but then he suddenly confesses that he genuinely loves her. Xia becomes flustered and embarrassed, leaving without knowing how to respond. Later that night, Xia meets up with Xia and tells her about Feng's confession of love. She admits that she's confused about her feelings and doesn't know what decision to make. Xia convinces her to accept Feng's love and to embrace happiness with him, encouraging her not to be afraid of the future. Xia falls silent, eventually agreeing with her. Meanwhile, Li discovers that the person who helped him in the forest long ago was actually Xia. He's in disbelief and rushes to the company to see Xia. He urgently asks her to come outside because he has something important to ask her. She agrees and steps out to meet him. Li grabs her and looks at her intensely, but before he can ask if she was the girl from the past, Feng appears and forces him to back off. Feng tells Li not to come near Xia again because she's his girlfriend, shocking Xia. Li, frustrated, leaves. Xia then tells Feng that she hasn't decided whether or not she'll date him. Feng confidently says he's already made up his mind, insisting that he knows she loves him just as much as he loves her. Xia playfully agrees, but before they enter the company, she suggests keeping their relationship a secret for now, believing it's the best thing for them. Feng agrees, and they walk in together, sharing happy moments like lovebirds. Days pass, and they continue to enjoy each other's company, growing closer and closer. One night, while they're talking and enjoying each other's presence, Feng suggests it might be time to announce their relationship to the company. However, Xia refuses, fearing that everyone at work will start gossiping about them, making things awkward. She convinces him not to go public with their relationship just yet. Huo confronts Xia, telling her she knows Xia loves Feng, but warns her to stop because Feng loves Xia. This revelation shocks and deeply upsets Huo, causing her to walk away in distress. One day, Xia and Feng go out for a drink together. While they're out, Xia receives a call from her aunt and uncle, who inform her that they've arrived in the city and ask her to come meet them. She agrees and says she's on her way. Unbeknownst to her, Li overhears the conversation and decides to use the situation to his advantage. Xia heads to the airport to pick up her relatives. She tells them she'll take them to a hotel since she doesn't have an apartment of her own and is temporarily staying with a friend. Before they can leave, Li shows up pretending to be her friend and offers to take them to his place. Despite Xia's attempts to refuse, Li quickly takes their luggage and gets her relatives into his car. He rents an apartment for them and settles them in. Her relatives are thrilled, but Xia is worried. She confronts Li, telling him that his actions will cause her a lot of problems. Li insists that he just wants to help and doesn't expect anything in return. He then excuses himself and leaves. Xia takes her aunt, uncle, and cousin out for dinner. While they're eating, her aunt takes some of Xia's food and gives it to her daughter. Her aunt gives her a lame excuse, which annoys Shi, but she holds back and doesn't cause a scene. The next day at the office, Huo asks Feng if there's a relationship between him and Shi. Feng admits that they are indeed dating. Huo gets upset and speaks badly about Shi, questioning how Feng could date her when she was involved with both him and Li at the same time. Feng gets irritated and tells Huo to leave and not show her face again. Just then, Shi gets a call from her aunt saying that a water pipe in the house has burst and needs fixing, so she rushes out to help. When she arrives, she is surprised to find Li already there. She learns that her aunt had called him to help with the situation. After the pipe is fixed, they all have dinner together. She starts feeling unwell, so her cousin goes to her room to fetch some medicine. Li accidentally sees a hairpin in Shi's possession, the same one he had taken from the girl he helped long ago. He asks her if she was that girl, but she lies and says yes. She continues to mislead him. and they return to give Shai the medicine, after which she feels better. On another day, Shi's cousin follows her and sees her out with Feng, looking happy together. She realizes they are in a relationship and becomes envious that Shi is dating a wealthy man. That night, she tells her mother that Shi is dating a rich guy and that she'll do whatever it takes to snag a wealthy man herself, clearly hinting that she's targeting Li. As days pass, Shi and Feng remain happy together. One day, Feng asks her to visit his mother's grave with him, and she agrees. At the grave, Feng talks to his mother, telling her how much he loves Shi and how happy he's been since they got together. His words deeply touch Shi, and she realizes how much he loves her. However, Feng's father arrives and tries to talk to him, but Feng becomes upset, takes Shi, and leaves. One day, Shi's uncle sees her standing with Feng and approaches her, asking if they are in a relationship and why she hadn't told the family. Feng becomes frustrated because he thought Shi was honest and had already told her family about their relationship. He gets upset and leaves. The next day at work, Shi tries to reconcile with Feng, but he ignores her. Later, Feng holds a meeting to discuss some company matters. After the meeting, he announces to everyone that he and Shi are dating and that he loves her very much. Everyone is shocked and can't believe it, while Huo is particularly upset. After the meeting, the employees gossip, saying that Shi is a manipulator who managed to make the company president fall in love with her. Shi overhears this and feels hurt. Huo confronts Shi outside and tells her that her relationship with Feng is not in his best interest and that it will cause him to lose everything. She demands that Shi leave the company. However, Shi refuses, stating that Feng has changed for the better because of her. His relationship with the employees has improved, and she's the reason for it. She insists she will not leave either Feng or the company, then walks away, leaving Huo furious. That night, Huo goes to Feng's house and pleads with him to leave Shi, confessing that she has loved him for a long time. But Feng rejects her feelings, telling her that they are like siblings and that he loves Shi and could never leave her. Heartbroken, Huo leaves in tears. After thinking it over, Huo contacts Li and plots with him to destroy Feng and get her revenge. The next day, Huo returns to the office, acting as if she has forgotten everything, and apologizes to Feng, saying that their friendship is what matters most. Feng, naive as ever, believes her. Days go by and Huo convinces Feng to take a deal with a certain company. She praises the company endlessly, but in reality it's a fake company set up by Li. Later, Huo meets with Li and tells him that she has successfully persuaded Feng to work with the fake company he created. He reassures her, telling her not to worry because he has everything planned out perfectly and they'll bring Feng down soon. Meanwhile, Feng and Shi's relationship grows stronger, and they spend even more time together. One night, Shi takes Feng to meet her aunt and uncle, and they all get along well. However, Li is also there, and it's clear that her cousin is close to winning him over. Li becomes very upset when he sees Feng with Shi and decides to frame Shi for leaking information about a company's deals to a competitor to get her kicked out of the company and make Feng hate her. Feng is distressed and calls a meeting. When Shi finds out, she defends herself, arguing that she isn't foolish enough to make such a simple mistake. She leaves the meeting upset. Later that night, when Feng returns home, he apologizes to Shi and tells her that he trusts her and knows she didn't leak the information. He reassures her that he'll soon find out who did. They spend the night together, making up and growing even closer. Another day, some men sent by Li show up at the company and accuse Shi of accepting a bribe to leak information to them, planning to expose her. When Shi refuses to comply with their demands, they begin to cause a scene, trying to publicly shame her. Shi is terrified and unsure of what to do, but after a while, she comes up with a plan to prove her innocence. She goes to Li's company and confronts him, asking if he's behind everything happening to her. Li admits that he is, smugly thinking he's won. Shai is thrilled because she secretly recorded their conversation with a device in her hand. However, Li notices the recorder before she can leave, grabs it from her, and forces her to leave empty-handed. What Li doesn't know is that Shi had another recorder hidden in her bag, and she managed to record the entire conversation. She takes the recording to Feng, proving her innocence. Feng is overjoyed and plays the recording for the company staff, clearing Shi's name in front of everyone. He then confronts Huo, revealing that he knows she was the one who leaked the information. Huo becomes flustered and can't lie her way out, finally admitting that she did it to get revenge on Shi because she hates her. She then tells Feng to consider her resignation as final, and storms out. Shi learns that Huo has left the company, so she goes to talk to her, trying to convince her to return. She tells Huo that she's been Feng's friend for a long time, and that they built the company together. She urges Huo to separate work from personal issues, to let go of the past, and come back to the company. Huo pretends to agree, but in reality, she's plotting her revenge against Shi. She, unaware of Huo's true intentions, takes her back to the company. Later, Shi meets Feng's father and tries to mend the relationship between him and his son. Feng's father explains what happened between them long ago, how Feng hasn't spoken to him since, and that he has Alzheimer's. He tells Shi that he wants to reconcile with his son before he dies or his condition worsens. Shi is moved by his story and promises to help. She talks to Feng and persuades him to visit his father and try to forgive him, rekindling their relationship. Feng agrees, and Shi takes him to visit his father at his home. Shi tries to lighten the mood by offering to cook while Feng and his father talk. However, their conversation quickly becomes heated, and they end up arguing. Feng, upset with his father, takes Shi and leaves. Later, Feng's father falls seriously ill. He is admitted to the hospital and Shi finds out, so she talks to Feng and convinces him to visit his father. When they arrive, Shi speaks to Feng's father, telling him that Feng isn't to blame for what happened in the past, and that he has been avoiding his father because of what he did. She urges him to forgive his father. Later, Shi's uncle sees her and apologizes for anything that might have happened in the past, inviting her to lunch. During lunch, he asks her to help his daughter find a job since she was recently let go. Shi agrees to try. When Shi talks to Feng later, she asks him to hire her cousin at the company. Feng agrees without hesitation, and her cousin starts working at the company. Shi introduces her to the staff and explains the job. However, Shi starts to suspect that Feng's father lied to her about his illness. One day, while sitting with him, she secretly takes one of his pills and later shows it to Huo, asking her to find out what kind of medication it is. That night, Huo calls back and tells her that the pills are just vitamins, not Alzheimer's medication. She is upset that Feng's father lied to her, so she confronts him. He admits to lying because he wanted to restore his relationship with his son, and asks Shi not to tell Feng, fearing it would ruin their relationship. Shi understands his position and decides not to tell Feng. However, at a party celebrating Shi's success at work, Huo tries to sabotage Feng and Shi's relationship again. She publicly reveals that Shi knew Feng's father didn't have Alzheimer's and kept it from him. Feng becomes very upset, feeling betrayed by Shi for not telling him the truth. He accuses her of always lying to him. Shi is left speechless, embarrassed, and doesn't know what to say. Feng storms out and goes to confront his father, asking him how he could use Shi and involve her in their problems, making things worse between them. His father coldly responds, admitting that he always causes trouble in Feng's relationships. This only angers Feng more, and he leaves. Later, Huo tries to have Shi removed from the company, telling her she's recommended her for a job at another company. Shi refuses to leave, telling Huo she made a mistake in trusting her in the first place, and walks away. Shi tries to apologize to Feng and repair their relationship, but he treats her coldly and ignores her. Meanwhile, Li contacts Feng and asks to meet. When they do, a group of thugs hired by those who have issues with Li attacks them. Feng and Li try to defend themselves, but Feng ends up saving Li, although he gets badly injured in the process. Li rushes Feng to the hospital, where his condition stabilizes. Shi hears about Feng's condition, and she rushes to the hospital, staying by his side all night. When Feng wakes up, he finds Shi and Li by his side. His father also visits, but Feng tries to leave when he sees him. However, his father stops him and asks to talk. They step outside, where Feng's father apologizes for everything that happened in the past, assuring Feng that Shi had nothing to do with it. Feng forgives his father, but he makes it clear that he still can't forgive him for destroying their family. Shi continues to care for Feng in the hospital, and they slowly rekindle their relationship. Shi promises him that she'll never lie to him again, and they become close once more. When Suo arrives and sees them together, she becomes very jealous. After Feng is discharged from the hospital, his father visits Li's father and apologizes, asking for his forgiveness so their children can become friends again and live happy lives. During this time, Li's father finally recognizes his son, Li, for the first time, and they share a heartfelt hug. Li feels hopeful that his father's condition might improve over time. Li then speaks with Feng, telling him that he forgives him and knows he wasn't to blame for anything. They reconcile and become friends again, just like before. As time passes, Feng proposes to Shi, who is overjoyed. When Huo finds out, she is furious and heartbroken. She packs up her things and leaves the company. The wedding day arrives, and Shi wears a stunning dress. Feng takes her hand, telling her how much he loves her and that he'll always be by her side. Shi is ecstatic, and they proceed with the wedding ceremony, both overjoyed. The series ends with them happily married. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our recap, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out more recaps on our channel. Take care.